Every village has that one boy. The one who never hurries. The one who yawns when others sweat. In Ryan's village, that boy was him. While others carried baskets of rice at sunrise, Ryan stayed under the shade of a tree, eyes half closed, hat tilted over his face. They called him lazy. They laughed when he stretched instead of lifted. They whispered, "That boy will never be anything." But here's the truth. Laziness isn't always weakness. Sometimes it hides something else. Sometimes it hides a different way of thinking. Ryan's job was simple: protect the rice fields from birds. Other boys chased the birds away, running back and forth until their legs burned. Ryan, he refused. Instead, he built wooden poles across the field and tied ropes to them. When a flock landed, he pulled one rope, and the entire system shook the field. Birds scattered. No running. No sweating. Just one pull. The villagers laughed harder. Too lazy to run, they said. But the field stayed safe. You see, Ryan wasn't lazy at all. He was efficient. But efficiency without purpose looks like idleness. Then came the summer that changed everything. The rain forgot the land. The fields cracked. Water jars emptied faster than they filled. And Ryan's father, a quiet farmer with strong hands, fell ill with fever. Suddenly, Ryan had no choice. The fields were his. The buckets, the weeds, the long hours under the burning sun, all his. But Ryan was not ready. His soft hands blistered. His legs gave way before noon. His clever tricks failed against the heavy silence of dying crops. For the first time, he saw not just the mockery of villagers, but their pity. And pity hurt more. That night, Ryan lay on his back in the open, staring at the stars. His father coughed inside the house. His mother's face was pale with worry. He heard laughter from the far end of the village, men around a fire speaking of a contest at the king's palace. A competition of strength, skill, and wit. The winner? A chest of gold. Enough to save a family. Enough to save a field. Enough to silence laughter. Ryan sat up. His heart beat differently that night. For the first time, laziness had no place in him. For the first time, he had a reason. And reasons are stronger than habits. At dawn, before the rooster crowed, Ryan packed a small cloth bundle. No grand speech. No farewells. Just a quiet walk to the road that led to the palace. Villagers noticed. Some shouted, "Where are you going, lazy boy? To sleep at the king's court?" Others laughed so hard they wiped their eyes. Ryan did not reply. He kept walking, each step heavier than the last, but steadier. For the first time, the boy who was always sitting down chose to rise and walk. He didn't know what tests awaited. He didn't know if he could win. But he knew this. He had a reason, and reasons are fuel. After 3 long days of walking, Ryan reached the city gates. He had never seen anything so grand. Tall stone walls rose like mountains. Golden flags waved in the morning air. Trumpets echoed as soldiers marched. Crowds pressed against the gates, people shouting, cheering, waiting for the contest to begin. Ryan's heart thumped. He looked down at his dusty feet, his worn shirt, and thought, "What am I doing here? I don't belong among them." But then he remembered his father's cough, his mother's tired eyes, the withering rice field. He clenched his fists. He whispered, "I'm here for them," and he stepped forward. Inside the courtyard, an official stood tall, his voice loud and sharp. "The first challenge," he announced, "is across the Great Lake. Whoever reaches the far shore and returns will advance. The rest will go home." Strong men stretched their arms. Muscles bulged. Some slapped their chests, roaring like beasts. They were fighters, wrestlers, farmers with arms like tree trunks. Ryan swallowed hard. He had never swum farther than the village stream. His chest tightened. His palms grew wet. "Across the lake and back," he whispered. "If I try to swim, I will drown." He closed his eyes. He forced himself to breathe. And then a thought flashed. There must be another way. A horn blasted. The ground shook with the stampede of bodies leaping into the water. Waves rose. Arms churned. The lake became chaos. Ryan froze. His heart screamed, Run! Dive! Do something! But his mind whispered, wait, watch. He turned his head. Just beyond the shore, near a cluster of trees, driftwood floated, broken logs from the palace gardens. Ryan's pulse quickened. His lips curved into a smile. While others fought the water, he sprinted away from the lake, straight into the forest. The crowd gasped. Some laughed. "The lazy boy quits already!" they jeered. But Ryan was not quitting. He was planning. In the forest, Ryan gathered logs, branches, and vines. His hands shook, but he worked fast. He tied wood together, shaping a rough raft. The crowd outside couldn't see him, but a few curious eyes whispered, "What is he doing?" Back at the shore, the strong men were already halfway across, their powerful arms pulling them forward. But sweat glistened, muscles strained. Breath grew heavy. Ryan dragged his little raft into the water. It bobbed clumsily, but it floated. He climbed on, grabbed a thick branch, and began to paddle. Not fast, not powerful, but steady. While others burned out their strength, Ryan let the water carry him forward. The men who started strong began to falter. Their arms slowed. Some gasped for air. A few turned back, unable to continue. But Ryan? His strokes stayed calm, measured, almost lazy. When the first man reached the far shore, Ryan was still halfway. The crowd barely noticed him. But as the race dragged on, something happened. One by one, strong men grew weaker. And one by one, Ryan's raft passed them. He wasn't first. He wasn't second. But when he stepped onto the shore, dripping and smiling, the official's voice rang out. Third place? Ryan! The crowd fell silent. Then murmurs spread. The lazy boy had survived the first test. The second test was unlike anything Ryan expected. Instead of sweat or strength, it began with food. A grand hall opened before the contestants, tables heavy with roasted meat, sweet cakes, fruits glistening like jewels. The smell itself was a trap: honey, butter, cinnamon. The official announced, "Eat what you can. But remember, this is a test of discipline. The one who eats too much will fail the challenge that follows." The men laughed. "Easy," they said, piling their plates high. Ryan's stomach growled. He hadn't eaten properly in days. His hands trembled over the bread. But then he stopped. He remembered his father's words. Too much comfort makes a man weak. Ryan took only one apple. He ate slowly and waited. After the feast, the official's voice boomed again. "Now, climb the tower." The hall doors opened to reveal a stone tower, its walls rough and jagged, reaching high into the clouds. Those who had eaten heavily staggered forward, their bellies heavy, their breaths shallow. They groaned as they tried to lift themselves onto the first stones. Ryan looked up. The tower seemed endless. His heart pounded, but his body was light, his stomach steady. Hand over hand, foot over foot, he climbed. Slowly, carefully, not rushing. Below him, men slipped. Some clutched their sides, weighed down by the feast. Others fell back to the ground, defeated. But Ryan, he kept moving. Not fast, not strong, but steady. One wrestler, broad as a bear, tried to haul himself upward. His muscles bulged, veins strained. But halfway, he groaned and slipped, crashing to the ground. Another, a tall farmer with arms like ropes, shook his head in disbelief as he slid down, unable to continue. The crowd gasped. Ryan didn't look back. He couldn't. If he looked down, fear would grip him. Instead, he kept whispering, "One more step, just one more." Sweat blinded his eyes. His arms shook, his legs screamed, but he refused to stop. By the time he pulled himself to the top, his fingers raw, only a handful of men had made it. And Ryan was among them. That night, Ryan lay in the barracks with the other survivors. He should have felt proud, but instead doubt crept in. I barely made it. Tomorrow will be harder. What if I fail? What if they laugh again? What if I was never meant for this? He turned on his side, staring at the wooden ceiling. His body ached, his heart heavier still. For the first time since leaving the village, he thought of turning back. Going home. Hiding in the fields. pretending this never happened. But then he remembered his mother's tired eyes, his father's weak cough, the cracked earth of the field, and he whispered to himself, "Not yet. Not until I try." In the middle of the night, Ryan woke to a sound, the crackle of flames. The barracks door glowed orange. Smoke curled under the beams. Panic erupted. Men shouted, stumbled, rushed toward the exit. But the door was blocked. Ryan's chest tightened. The fire spread fast, sparks leaping to the hay. Some men froze. Others pushed, desperate to break through. Ryan grabbed a bucket of water, hurled it at the flames, then shouted, "The window! Break the window!" Together, a few followed him. They smashed the wooden frame, one by one, climbing out into the night air. When Ryan crawled through last, coughing, he realized something. This wasn't an accident. It was another test.
The next morning, the survivors were led to the palace courtyard. There, upon a throne of gold, sat the king himself. His eyes sharp as blades, his voice deep as thunder. "You have crossed water. You have climbed stone. You have faced fire. Now comes the final test, the test of will." He raised his hand. Servants brought forward a massive stone wheel, taller than a man, heavier than any ox. "Push this wheel across the courtyard. Alone. Without help. Whoever succeeds will be named victor. Whoever fails will return with nothing." The men's faces paled. Muscles twitched. Even the strongest hesitated. Ryan's mouth went dry. His arms still ached from climbing, his lungs from smoke. But he clenched his fists. One more step. Just one more. One by one, the strongest men tried. The bear-like wrestler roared, veins bulging, legs straining. The wheel shuddered, moved an inch. Then rolled back. He collapsed, chest heaving, defeated. Another man wrapped ropes around his shoulders, pulling with all his might. His face turned red, his teeth gritted. The wheel groaned forward, then stopped. The crowd watched in silence as man after man failed. Sweat poured. Arms shook. Yet the wheel refused to yield. Ryan's heart hammered. If they couldn't do it, how could he? He closed his eyes. He whispered, "Not with strength. Not with speed. Think." Ryan stepped forward. The crowd murmured. Some laughed. "The lazy boy? He'll be crushed." Ryan knelt by the wheel, pressing his palms against the stone. He felt its weight, its balance. Then he smiled. Instead of pushing with blind force, he leaned his shoulder against the edge and rocked it gently. Forward. Back. Forward. Back. Each time, just a little more. The crowd frowned, confused. Some jeered. But slowly, the wheel began to roll. Ryan stayed with it, not fighting against its weight, but guiding its rhythm. Step by step, rock by rock, the massive wheel crossed the courtyard. When it stopped at the far wall, silence fell. Then gasps. Then thunderous applause. The boy they called lazy had done what the strong could not. The king rose from his throne, his golden robe shining under the sun. He looked at Ryan, this boy with dusty clothes and tired eyes, and he spoke, "Strength is common. Wit is rare. But will is the rarest of all. You, boy, have all three." Servants brought forth a chest of gold, its lid open, coins glittering like fire. The king placed his hand on Ryan's shoulder. "Take this," he said. "Not because you are strong. Not because you are clever. But because you refuse to give up." The courtyard thundered with cheers. And for the first time, Ryan stood tall, not lazy, not mocked, but victorious. Days later, Ryan walked the same dusty road back to his village. But this time, there was no laughter behind him. There was silence first, then awe. The boy who once lay under trees now carried gold upon his shoulders. The boy who once ran from work now walked with pride. He paid the healers for his father. He brought water to the fields. He rebuilt his home. And when people whispered, they no longer said lazy. They said, "That boy proved himself." Because in the end, Ryan's story was never about laziness. It was about finding a reason. And once you have a reason, no weight is too heavy, no wall too high, no fire too hot. Remember this: laziness dies the day purpose is born.